So what if you did, everything right, followed all the rules to build a life in the U.S., and then suddenly your immigration case just stops?
Yep, just completely frozen.
Right. Welcome to today's deep dive. We're exploring what's being called the USCIS pause.
And to be clear, that's a recent policy that halts immigration applications for people from 39 different countries.
Just based on their country of birth, which is wild. We're pulling from policy memos, legal tracking projects, and a documentary-style script today to figure out exactly what is going on.
But before we jumped in, we do need to mention that immigration is obviously a very politically charged topic.
Oh, definitely. And our goal today is not to take a side or, argue the policy itself. We are strictly looking at the mechanics of this pause, just based impartially on the facts in our source material.
Exactly. We're just reporting what the sources say.
Okay, so let's unpack this. It's almost like hitting pause on a movie, but the movie is someone's actual life.
That's a really good way to put it.
So are these applications actually being denied, or what exactly is happening behind the scenes?
Well, they aren't being denied, but they also aren't being approved. They're just in this indefinite limbo.
Okay, so just stuck.
Yeah, totally stuck. Effective January 1st, 2026, USCIS placed what they call an adjudicative hold.
Wait, an adjudicative hold?
Right, on green cards, work authorizations, and asylum applications for nationals of those 39 countries.
Wow, that is huge.
And since USCIS is this massive bureaucratic engine, a hold doesn't just mean putting physical files in a drawer somewhere.
Right, I imagine it's all digital anyway, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The software systems are literally locked from issuing approvals. Officers are physically barred from stamping the final paperwork.
So it creates this enormous invisible bottleneck. It's, I don't know, less like hitting pause on a remote and more like freezing the gears of a massive clock.
Yeah, the hands stop moving, but all the tension in the springs is still there.
Building up pressure. And I read in the tracking projects that this isn't just for new applicants. They are actually looking backwards, too.
Yeah, and that's the part that is really catching legal experts completely off guard.
How far back are we talking?
Well, cases from these countries that were already approved since January 20, 2021 are now subject to a comprehensive re-review.
Wait, seriously? 2021?
Yes. So individuals who thought they had crossed the finish line years ago are suddenly having their legal status scrutinized all over again.
The scale of that retroactive review is just staggering. I mean, we are talking about people already deeply entrenched in the U.S. economy, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Physicians, engineers, scientists, nurses.
So if their paperwork is frozen and their work authorizations lapse, the fallout doesn't just stay confined to USCIS waiting rooms.
Exactly. I mean, if we connect this to the bigger picture, when a hospital's nursing staff or a tech firm's engineers suddenly lose their legal ability to work, the local systems buckle.
They just can't legally stay on the job.
Right. The ripple effects hit the broader workforce and healthcare sectors directly because the legal mechanism to keep those people employed simply shuts off.
Which means families face separation and critical roles are left vacant literally overnight. But there has to be some sort of safety valve here, right?
What do you mean?
Like, what if it's an emergency? If you're a doctor in the middle of a critical surgery or, I don't know, an Olympic athlete, surely the government isn't just freezing your paperwork, too.
Well, there are exceptions, but they are incredibly narrow.
Okay, like what?
The hold doesn't apply to children being adopted by U.S. citizens, for example.
That makes sense.
And there is a carve-out. If the government determines an individual's case serves an extreme United States national interest.
Extreme national interest. So that might cover what? A scientist leading a critical public health project?
Yeah, or maybe athletes competing in the World Cup. But those are the absolute outliers.
Right, so for the vast majority of applicants, there's no national interest carve-out to save them.
None at all. They are left with no clear timeline and no explanation for when or even if things will move forward.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
And, while you might not be directly affected, this is happening right now in our communities.
Yeah, and most Americans have never even heard about it, which is why our source script emphasizes that awareness is where change actually begins.
Exactly. Sharing this information or simply contacting representatives is one of the few ways to keep this from happening completely in the dark.
Because right now, it is very much in the dark.
It really highlights the sheer weight of administrative processes. It leaves you wondering,
Wondering what?
Well, if a bureaucratic system can instantly pause hundreds of thousands of lives and careers overnight based solely on a person's country of birth.
Which is essentially what happened here.
Right. What does that mean for the concept of legal certainty in our modern world? Like, could tax statuses or business licenses theoretically be subject to an adjudicative hold tomorrow?